Do your thing, 21.
Hey,
Hey.
what's up, dude?
What's up, Elevation Nation?
Chilling. I mean, I'm not going to speak for Elevation Nation, but I think I'm chilling. I'm ready to go on July 4th break. Thankfully, unfortunately, our company has off all week, and I am very pumped to decompress at the beach, my favorite place. I have a tall book I am reading right now, Unbroken.
You measure
Recommended.
books like that?
It-
Tall?
it's a
Not
hefty
wide or
one.
thick?
If
Tall?
I slam this book across your head as hard as I could slam it, you would not be awake after I slam it.
So violent.
I'm
Who
just
hurt
saying,
you?
this is a hefty book. Like, this is going to take up space in my luggage.
There you go. I'm excited
I'm
for
reading,
you to read it.
by the way, Elevation
Did
Nation.
Kai recommended that to you?
Kai McKinney recommended Unbroken.
Shout out
Story about a U.S. Olympian turned World War II soldier.
And movie.
I'm like 130 pages in, and it's pretty good. The writer is incredible, very, very descriptive, and I'm learning a lot about World War II. Did you know? Fun fact, Sam.
Hit me.
There were like 15 to 20,000 casualties of American soldiers that their deaths didn't even come from combat. Their deaths came from their aircraft failures in testing, in
testing?
practice.
Jeez, bro.
15
That
to
many
20,
in testing?
yeah, 15 to 20,000. Like, these aircrafts were just you hop on it. It was like,
Bro,
Russian
how's
roulette.
that possible? Like, planes only carry... Those planes are, for two people, no?
No,
Little fighter planes?
stick 8-10 people on these planes.
Oh, wow. That's sad.
But I was reading this and I'm like, there were so many people who died who didn't even die in combat. They died in freaking domestically in the United States.
Speaking of all that,
Crazy.
I mean, the fact that people had to go to war and still go to war, but back then we're getting drafted and going to war. Why do we ever complain about anything that we go through? We're so soft. I'm so soft. Have you seen those memes coming out, those TikToks that are like, men used to go to war, now they wear tight pants and hit a little white ball on grass?
It's like
It's
send
so
a Gen
funny.
Z to war
Yeah.
or something. Yeah.
Bro,
No,
they just TikTok the whole thing.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting because we've lived our life in generally a time of peace where,
Yeah.
I mean, yes, we've had the Iraqi war, Afghanistan, all of that, but generally speaking, our parents and our grandparents lived through World War II, Vietnam, Korean War, all these wars, and it's most people, my grandpa served. I don't know if your grandpa served or not, but
Not actively, but yeah, he was in the Navy.
yeah, most people I feel were drafted at that time. And it's crazy to think that generation was so connected to just war and military and I feel our generation is not. And maybe that's
I think
why
it's our American generation because
American generation.
Joe, elevator number one, Joey Lane just got back from Birthright, and
Yeah,
soldiers
exactly.
there, they join at 18. They have to.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if it's because. Do you think that patriotism in this country is decreasing because of that? People feel a little bit.
Have you heard of rally round the flag effect, Parker?
Yeah, that makes sense. You'll have to enlighten Elevation Nation on your little term here.
So, rally around the flag effect happens at times of war when people feel that the war is justified. Approval ratings for presidencies skyrocket, and patriotism for your country skyrockets. It's like a psychological thing.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at 9/11, maybe patriotism after 9/11 was so high. Yeah, no, it's weird, and I don't know why we started this Fortitude in 15 with that, but yeah, you make a really good point that we do take that for granted. The fact that we don't have to, we have a choice to serve our country, because that is not the case in other places.
Yeah.
You know, I know to your point, what is it? Israel, South Korea, and many other countries, you have to serve. You have to do time, in the military.
Yeah. I mean, talk about sacrifice above yourself. It's tough. I mean, again, we don't go through anything close to that. I've been getting a lot of Navy SEAL training on my TikTok lately, too. These guys are badass.
Do you think that they're recruiting you?
No, because there's no shot I can do any of that stuff. I'm way too soft.
Yeah. No,
I don't think any of us could, man.
I work
Maybe
with
the only one is Miles Grossman.
I work with some veterans and people who are, in the National Guard, and I have so much respect for those people. And there's times where they have to put their job on pause because they have to go do something. During COVID, for example, I worked with a guy who literally got, not deployed, but basically was called from the National Guard, was called to literally for 6 months. They did COVID testing and all of that. And I'm
crazy.
like, whoa, that's crazy. Like, he literally had to put his life on pause, and then now he has to go do his duty of being in the National Guard.
I mean, obviously, going to war is never good, but a duty like that, or, some natural disasters that happen when they deploy the National Guard, it's got to feel good to have something so big that you are representing and helping to rebuild, right? Like, beyond just volunteering, right? Like, bro, we volunteer, like, I give blood. Like, we go to a soup kitchen. Like, we'll do, like, a connect day for work. But to actually have something where you put on a special uniform, you've been trained specifically to help people in times of crisis, and they look up to you to try to pick up the pieces of their life, like, that's got to be some semblance of fulfillment, right? Like, and it takes a lot of mental fortitude and gives you that.
I feel like people who are policemen, people who are firefighters, people who work in hospitals, nurses, or soldiers, like people who are part of the military, like, they don't do it for the money, right? There's no way. There's no way they do it for the money, because we both know, and I think you could ask them, that the money is just, that's not a profession that you go in for money. But you look at Ben, your brother. I mean, I have utmost respect for Ben. He cares so much about keeping the world safe. And he's willing to put, as crazy as it sounds, like, his life on the line at times to make sure that others are safe. And we take those people for granted. I do all the time, I feel like. And, I'm suddenly, I don't like being reminded when people are talking about the police, for an example, in a negative light. Yes, there's wrongdoings and everything. But, like, I look at a policeman, I'm like, these people are here to protect us. We shouldn't feel scared of them. We shouldn't feel like they're here to help you when you're going through something or something bad happens, and they're there at those worst moments. And also the good moments, too.
100%. It certainly gives people a sense of purpose. And I think, it's not necessarily one of our buckets of mental fortitude, but I think purpose is important, and maybe a little bit part of, like,
well, that's your fuel,
yourself.
Dude. That's your fuel.
Yeah, fuel. Maybe it's your fuel, right? Like, what actually drives you is feeling that purpose of something greater than yourself. Because a lot of people feel like they're just a number not making an impact. What better way to truly make an impact is by giving back to the community and finding that fulfillment.
Dude, I think we should have a policeman on the podcast soon. I think we should have, we just had a firefighter on.
I know a couple, so you're good.
Yeah, I think we should have a policeman on. Ben obviously could come on, but, I know we don't do friends and family anymore. So, yeah. Or it would be really cool to have someone who is an active military, active in the military. I think that would be really interesting, really cool. It'd make for a really good July 4th conversation, too. Celebrating our independence in America.
It certainly would. I think it's a good reminder of that, and it's sad that we need reminders, but when your day-to-day is so non-involved in that, you kind of forget. I mean, I don't know if I told you this. The apartment building next to me, Parker, has caught on fire 5 times in the last year. It's pretty wild. I feel like they should probably look into that, but, dude, the firemen get here. It's a big building. Like, get here, ladders up, within minutes every single time, any hour of the day. And you sometimes just forget and take it for granted. Like, bro, you can call a number and people will come and rescue you and help you and do whatever they can, train to come try to get you out of a bad situation. And it's just pretty remarkable that we have things like that and people that are willing to do that.
I mean, have you ever been rushed in an ambulance in an emergency? I've had that 2 times, and when I choked on the piece of steak, that was less of an emergency, but the other was when I fainted on that run about a year and a half ago, or it was a year ago. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, holy shit, like I'm so grateful for these people. Like this is their job, but like they save people all day and they make sure they're okay, and that's what they do. And I'm like, oh my God, can you imagine a world without these types of people? Because at one point there was a world without, policing and medicine like that.
It's crazy.
So we take it for granted.
We really do. All right. Elevator shout outs. I think we got to give some. I love that conversation though, Parker. That was so different than what we normally do.
I'm having trouble hearing you.
I love that conversation. That was great.
Yeah.
Let's give some elevator shout outs.
Shall we? Conversation. Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
Cool. All righty. My elevator shout out, elevator number 76. Sarah Figueroa, CEO of GeoJam. Sarah and GeoJam just got acquired by the powerhouse in the entertainment industry, a company I know very well, WME. Pretty remarkable that they have a partnership now. So shout out to Sarah and her team on that incredible deal with WME, and I'm excited to see how they shake up the music and entertainment space.
I think you shouted out Sarah last week. You must have, GeoJam must be really on your mind lately. Is that what it is?
Maybe I did, but I'm pretty sure I wrote about them in our newsletter that's coming out next week.
Huh.
Too.
Yeah.
They must really be on my mind. Good job, Sarah.
They must be, because I mean, you did call them out last week. I love it.
Sorry.
No worries. I'm going to shout out Elevator 79, Ryan Modney. Man, I'm just like following him on Instagram, and I'm like, he's in rooms with like Gary Vee and other really interesting people. I just saw he was in a room with like working with Charlie D'Amelio and her parents. And like when we had a conversation with him, he has a full vision of what he wants to do and work with influencers and help them, create experiences for other, like, it's crazy. Like he's in the rooms with really prominent people in the space that he's in. And I just got to commend him. He's a young guy and he's just going after his dreams and elevating by any means possible too. So shout out Ryan. Love what you're doing. Keep crushing it.
Love it. Elevation Nation, remember to thank people for their service. And until next week, peace.